Hello and welcome back to the Dwarven Tavern videos. I am your host Lyric Goins, and today in the tavern with me is just my brother,
Ian Goins.
Yeah. And today we are talking about character classes, specifically rogues.
Yeah.
We will be doing all the character classes, but we're just going to start with this one since we can get a conversation going that could probably take all day.
Yeah.
So,
We're gonna have to do a lot of editing.
lots. But what is your personal opinion on rogues?
Oh, start with me, okay.
Yes.
Rogues are interesting, to say the least. I'm not a fan of rogues. She is a fan of rogues.
Is it because they're so sneaky all the time, or
Well,
is they're just too tricky for you?
Too tricky for me? is that what we're... Yeah. Not too tricky for me.
They're too tricky for him.
Yeah, of course.
They're a bunch of Lokis just waiting to happen.
Well, my problem with rogues is they're trying to... I'm more of a fighter, and I'm more of a dwarf. And...
Dwarves and rogues don't really work together well.
Mainly because gold is a thing.
Well, I actually looked it up in the player's handbook, and no, there was a specific book about orcs, and it was all about orcs and all the different classes they could play. Sorry to completely interrupt you.
It's okay.
But it was actually talking about that rogues aren't necessarily the sneaky. They're not.
Yeah,
they don't have to be.
Rogues
that.
aren't necessarily the backstabbing type that was never seen. That's an assassin. That was a character class at one point.
Yeah, I mean they're not always like when we think of rogues, we think of mostly hobbits because that's their favorite character class. Halflings like to be rogues. That's just what they like to do, and we think they're tiny. We think they're small so that they can get in tight places, and they're quiet. They're sneaky. They're basically ninja. They're shinobi.
Yeah.
And that's...
But that's not what a rogue is.
Yeah. Like
that's an assassin. There's a big difference.
Is just someone who likes to steal.
A rogue is basically... The essence of a rogue is somebody who... It's like the jack of all trades who is out for personal profit.
True that.
That's what a rogue is. Because a rogue... They're not like, oh, I'm going to stab this guy in the back and steal all this stuff. Yeah. They're like, so... whatever the hell your name is, I'm doing this and doing that and the other thing, and they will basically, they're super con artists. They're like, because if you look at all the other character classes, there isn't the con artist character class, so it is fit into the rogue. And they can...
They can do... I'm gonna hijack your sentence. But when going back to that orc book that I was talking about,
Orcs.
They described all of the classes as an orc would. It was a half orc. As a half orc would be each and every class. And in this particular book, I completely forget what it was called, but the actual orc class as a rogue, or the orc class.
The orc class.
You can be an elf orc. How does that make you feel? No, but as an orc as a rogue is basically a thug, because they are brutish in their thievery, like, give me your money. And that's the exact same thing as...
A very good example of that, or actually a very good example of two rogues, is her character, you know, Baruch?
Baruch.
Yeah, Baruch. He was a half-orc rogue. It was a thing, and he was awesome.
Yeah.
And
black curly ringlets.
I had a hobbit, a she-hobbit, and she...
Loroska?
Yeah.
She
hurts me on the inside because she does very roguish things, like the stereotypical assassin rogue things.
Yeah.
But she's starting to lean more toward the jack of all trades out of personal profit route. Because she was an expert with a bow and never actually used backstab, ever. She shot you in the face with a bow and proceeded to steal your stuff. And she was an ace at hiding. Baruk, on the other hand, he did
Baduk was, I remember the very first instance when we started playing him, we went into a town. Classic. It was,
Classic.
when I envision it as one of those Western do towns, where we just walk in and we're like, yeah, that's what's up. And we walk in, and we want to go to the tavern, because that's where all the information is.
Of course.
And, I walk in, my half-orc self, and Taverneer Jeff, he was the one that was doing the DMing, and when I walked in, it was, "We don't like your kind here, you better get out right now." And I'm like, oh, it's on, it's on. I started a tavern fight and everything, and we basically got kicked out of the town unless we saved the whatever in the mines.
Yeah.
And it was his character's silence holding me back, because Baduk was kind of my character to get myself as a person out into the world. It's time to, break open my shell, and he was also the one that I wanted to force myself into a leadership position.
Yeah, the rogue.
The rogue. And that was a perfect, he couldn't have done that any other way.
No.
And if he had been a barbarian...
a barbarian wouldn't have done what he did. He did what he did because he was a rogue. He was like, oh, we're not allowed. He's like, I'm going to destroy everything you own.
And I'm going to take all of it, and I'm going to pocket it and sell it.
Yeah.
And that's what a rogue does.
And Silence was he was one of my first wizard characters. Or sorcerer. One of my first sorcerers.
He was your first sorcerer.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah, because you said you'd never played one before.
Yeah, and I don't play sorcerer. I play fighters who smack things with clubs. And Silence and Bodo get along.
They're basically the cliche rival buddy type.
Mainly, they're mainly in that position because Silence has a very, very large diamond that Baduk wants. And, pocket of holding, I'm going to store this right here.
And Baduk is like, I see that, and I want it.
And he's like, you can have it, one fireballs.
So, Baduk is hanging around Silence until he dies so that he can get his stuff.
And they both have no HP, but they're like, oh, what's up? They're acting
they're like this all the time, like, oh, you want to go? You want to go?
They're like scrawny.
Yeah, that's basically
But actually, Baduk isn't scrawny at all. He may have low HP, but he's got a 17 strength.
Yeah, no, he takes after his human half, but he has the attitude of an orc.
Yeah, he's very orky, but he's a rogue.
Yeah.
He wants all of your stuff.
And you're going to give it to him.
That's
you're going to die if you don't give it to him.
Yeah.
And that sounds like a barbarian.
Well, it actually sounds more like a fighter who is basically acting like a merc.
Yeah.
But
he
uses his trap finding. He uses all of the rogue traits.
He could try to use sneak attack, but he has a -2.
He's
silently.
He's got a horrible.
He can't move silently because Silence doesn't like him.
Hey! But yeah, it's he doesn't backstab like most rogues because he clubs them in the face. It's like he dove into this huge area. I don't remember. We fell through the roof, didn't we?
It was a cave, and a lot of the time cave bottoms can be flooded because they're below sea level. And what happened was that we were fighting this carrion crawler, and we were like, we gotta go. So even though Baduk wanted to stay behind and eat his face off, what happened was Silence pulled him into the tunnel, and then they all dropped down into basically a giant cavern full of water.
It was basically a trap tunnel. It was a trap hallway. So when we went into it, it just let out and just dumped us out the bottom into the. It was supposed to be an empty ravine with stalagmites. The ones to point out.
Stalactites are the ones that hold on tight. Stalagmites might reach the ceiling.
Yeah, so the stalagmites, just a litter with stalagmites. And
a litter of stalagmites?
That's what it was! And we were supposed to fall into those and impale ourselves on the rock floor. But it had filled with water over time, so we just went, sploosh.
Yeah.
Like, oh.
And then we didn't realize it, but there was stuff in there with us.
Yeah, like a freaking dire anaconda or something.
Yeah,
and this giant monster snake.
It bit Baduk in the shoulder.
Yeah.
And he just oh hell no, it just started beating it to death, and it was like, oh my god, I have to get away, nope, and then he kept going at it, and now he has a snake health.
He hit it in the face and got a critical.
Yeah.
On its face, as it bit him, and we were like, oh my god, the rogue's gonna die, because he just got bitten by a giant water snake in the water.
If only you guys knew.
Yeah, he was like 2nd level at the time.
Yeah.
And he criticaled it in the face, and it was like, my face. And it got off him, and he grabbed its head and started gnawing on it until he killed it with his teeth. A rogue.
So, we digress.
Yeah. So basically, what we're trying to get at is rogues don't have to be sneaky. I'm gonna kill this guy. They're not really in it for the killing. They're in it for the I want your stuff.
Oh, we can give bad examples. I had this character, this player who always wanted to be a rogue, and
I think I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, and well, I might not be talking about that person. I'm talking about that person. So they always wanted to be a rogue. They always wanted to be sneaky. They always wanted to be the one that outthought everybody and
we
got
all
the gold.
have those people in our campaigns. Those are everywhere. It's
You can't avoid them.
I want to be the sneaky guy who stabs him in the back.
I want to be the evil one that everyone loves in secret. It's like, no. That might work in movies, but in real life, in game, no. Nah, that crap ain't
real life.
in real life.
Yes.
In real life.
This is real life.
Yes.
You know it is.
But those characters, they lose likability
Instantly.
in that they're so cliche. Yeah. And everybody hates when you're cliche.
Because it's like, okay, if you got a paladin in the group and they're like, I want to be the sneaky evil one, paladin's like,
yep, kill.
I've got a great sword right here that says you're not going to be very evil.
This great sword is longer than your pinky toe, so it's going to kill you.
Yeah, like, oh, you got like what, 6 HP? It's like,
yeah, that's what's up. But those characters, they're so cliche in that they always want to be the ones to get the gold, and they always want to be the ones that they outthink everybody, and
they want to be that person.
Yeah.
And it's
they
so
try
much more
so
interesting.
Hard.
Yeah,
but it is so
much more interesting when you play a rogue, like what the rogue actually means.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, they're with the party because they're like, strength in numbers. I can get more money this way. You guys benefit me, so I'll work with you.
And this is a great example that you can't, when you play the cliche and when you play what the book defines your character as, you automatically become that character. But when you become a character that doesn't fit the norm, that doesn't, like, when you think of a rogue, you think of a sneaky ninja. But when you think of Baduk, you think of a badass bodybuilder who could, like, bounce for people.
Yeah,
so
it's like he had low HP because he was a rogue. That was his character class. But he was strong. He wasn't very bright.
No,
but he was strong.
He was kind of dumb.
He was fairly dexterous.
Yeah.
No,
his dex was probably his highest because he was a ninja. He was a ninja.
He was a ninja.
No, because he was a rogue.
Yeah, and the thing is, he was very, very brutish. He was like borderline barbarian, but he was all about the profit.
Yeah.
It's like he would not do it if it didn't benefit him, and that's a rogue.
Yeah. So when you, I guess the word of advice that we're going for is that when you play a character, no matter what character it is, if you play a rogue, you don't have to be what the book defines you as.
Yeah, character classes are guidelines.
They're guidelines.
Yeah.
It's more of a guideline, really.
Guideline.
But the books are there to tell you how to play the game. It doesn't mean that that's how you have to play the game. That means that's there for suggestion. Like the pre-rolled characters are just suggestions. They're not things that you have to live and breathe by. Like, your paladin doesn't have to be the one that charges ahead. He can be the one that's the strategic one in the background, overlooking the entire battlefield, seeing it over to make sure
making sure everything goes right.
That's a different conversation.
That is a different conversation. We have examples of that too.
Yeah, but basically, if you're going to be a rogue, you don't have to be a ninja. Because when you think of ninja, you think of the black suits who run around at night. Ninjas weren't the ones that were running around at night. Those were the assassins. When the true ninja were the one that dressed up like farmers and
it's like
cooks.
A woman walks up to you and is like, "Hi, how you doing?" Stab.
That's a ninja. And that's basically what a rogue is the true meaning of ninja.
Well, they're more of like, it's like, I can do ninja things, but I want to get paid.
I don't have to do the ninja things. The black doesn't really suit me. I mean, my skin's already dark. Because Baduk was a dark-skinned half-orc. He's like, I don't have to wear black. I'm going to, but I don't have to.
Like, we need to hide. Strips naked.
Blends.
Actually, that was his attitude anyway, so he just stripped naked just because he could.
Well, no, he did that because he used his snake skin that he got from that previously mentioned boa constrictor.
Yeah, it's like, I'm gonna eat your face. He's like, I'm gonna eat your face. I'm like, oh god.
And we had snake for lunch.
Yeah.
So, With that note, on behalf of the whole cast and crew of the Dwarven Tavern, I am Lyric Owens.
I'm Ian Goins.
And we wish for you to want nothing but adventure, and at first I feared it, then I charged. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.